Merlin tells them to party on and that he brought some friends. What is about to happen? I watched King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, episode 2. Here's what happens. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice are riding their horses of justice in search for the Queen of Justice, Guinevere. Meanwhile, Lord Viper learns from his crew that King Arthur has returned. And Lord Viper is like, what? Like, that's crazy. I thought that King Arthur guy was imprisoned in the Cave of Glass. Cave of Glass. Sounds like a pretty easy place to escape from. But what they don't know is that this isn't King Arthur. It's Arthur King, a 90s jock who, along with his teammates, was transported back to the Middle Ages. Arthur and the Knights are ambushed by the bad guys. This guy looks like a Beetleborg, the masked dude from Crash Bandicoot. Everyone rides their horses and shoots missiles at each other. Also, everyone has a chest weapon that they can summon. Lord Viper's is a snake whip. Snake whip, pretty cool. These two knights fall through a hole, and then everyone stops fighting and is like, okay, this isn't fun anymore, guys. I think they're really hurt. The two knights plummet into the lair of this evil lady, Morgana. She asks who they are and says she demands an answer. But as soon as they start explaining who they are, she tells them to shut up. She throws them in the dungeon, and then the hole they fell through closes up. And Arthur is really beating himself up about this whole situation, saying it's his fault. And then Merlin appears in Excalibur and gives him a pep talk. So Arthur goes to get on his horse, and when he does, he just throws his shield on the ground for some reason. He's like, oh, I'm done with this. Don't need that anymore. I'll just litter that. Then it turns out that the shield is magic, and a giant dragon flies out of it. And no one is surprised or has any questions. Arthur is just like, oh, you must be the Dragon of Justice. So Arthur, with his prominently featured golden buttocks, rides the magnificent beast to Castle Morgana. Then Arthur is attacked by a giant bat, and he wrestles it in the air and breaks its arms, causing it to crash. As Arthur goes to deliver the final blow, he decides he can't do it and lets the bat live. But look at this guy.
Say goodbye, Mr.
Put this thing out of its misery, dude. You just broke its arms. It's never going to fly again. Clearly suffering. It's the right thing to do at this point. As Arthur carries on, he accidentally falls down a hole and ends up in the dungeon where he is attacked by Darkwing and this other guy that pops out of the water. How long was he under there? But he's pretty cool. He's got Wolverine claws that are super long, and he can also shoot his fingernails out, which is kind of gross. Arthur grabs Darkwing and hucks him at the other dude, sending them both into the water. Then Arthur frees the others, and then they just casually start walking out of the evil lair. They should be running. Actually, no. That. They should summon that Dragon of Justice, and they should be hauling ass of justice out of this place. And of course, they're ambushed, and another all-out battle ensues. And this bad dude is really sick. His cape has like spikes on it, so to attack, he just like waves his cape at people. That's really cool. The gang escapes, and this guy discovers that his shield can summon a giant ram. So they all climb aboard, and the ram majestically leaps them out of the cave. But of course, Lord Viper and the warlords are waiting for them at the top, and they have to have another battle. This dude goes to crush Lance with a big hammer, and they shoot an arrow through the handle so the hammer falls and knocks him out. That's awesome. The gang is victorious, and then they reconvene with the rest of the knights and head back to Camelot. And Guinevere is super confused because she honestly thinks that this Arthur is her husband, King Arthur. And she's like, why is his accent so different? But then Merlin comes in and is like, great job on completing the mission, guys. I know this was the mission I brought you here to do, and now it's done. But then he says they still have a long way to go, and to return home, they need to recover the keys of truth. But I don't remember Merlin mentioning any keys of truth in the first episode. Did he? I don't think there are any keys of truth. I think Merlin's got a key of lies. And he just is mad lonely, and he likes having these 12 dudes around to kick it with. And then Merlin tells them to party on, and that he brought some friends. Is Merlin a madame? What is about to happen after the credits roll? Is Merlin trying to help these guys? That's weird.